see you. And lots of things are happening. And so could you, in July 2019, just for the record, that's summer 2019, tell us what's going on, what's happening.
I'm in a court case right now here in Nevada. I filed it December the 11th, 2018, against James Cameron and 10 other defendants for the movie Dark Fate Terminator, because he's using my characters, Sarah Connor and the Terminators. Those are my characters, and I sent a cease and desist letter telling him he cannot use them with a different concept. So what they're trying to give you guys is Applejack at Apple's prices. They can't use the concept of the Terminator about John Connor, because that's all Sarah Connor is, John Connor's mother. Terminator is about John Connor and his journey, where the Terminator goes right into the Matrix.
Okay,
It's not
well,
about Sarah Connor being a bounty hunter, like Wanted Dead Alive, with Steve McQueen, and she goes out looking and hunting to kill Terminators. That is not what the Terminator is about.
Okay, well, tell us what the Terminator is about, and just to recap for those who haven't seen you before, let's give a very brief little recap and what has been, and then tell us what is.
Terminator is the prequels. Prequels meaning the beginning of the Matrix movies. One epic story where John Connors, grow up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix. It's past, present, and future time travel, where the machines in the future, here's the Oracle's prophecy that a baby is going to be born that's going to destroy them when they enslave mankind. So the Terminator has to... But anyway,
well, I think it's worth keeping. I think it's worth keeping the fact that we've had so much trouble with this, just from even my internet being cut off, and then you being cut off just as you start talking. So let's.
Yeah, well, we can't control technology. That's just
I suspect
that's the machines. Yeah, that's what everything is all about. Anyway, let me go back to explaining. The machines hear the Oracle's prophecy that a baby is going to be born that's going to take them out when they enslave mankind. Because what I wrote was the second coming of the Christ consciousness, the evolutions of consciousness in man versus the machine. In other words, the Terminators know that the baby is going to be born of a woman named Sarah Connor. So they have to time travel to the past to kill her so the baby will not be born. But Kyle Reese also time travels to try to save her, and he inversely falls in love with her and gets her pregnant. He has to go back to the future because he can't stay in the past. And so it's the Immaculate Conception. She's pregnant now. She fell in love with this man. Was it a dream? The evolutions of consciousness, or did it really happen? And the Three Terminators is about that journey, about the teenager and the young man, and he's hitting out in the city. It's the Matrix. The Matrix is the future. Matrix means the woman's womb, a 7,000-year-old Latin word, mentioned 5 times in the Bible, King James's Bible, 3 times in Exodus, 2 times in Numbers. So we're talking about John Connor's journey to destroy the machines. So Terminator End Time Revelations is not about Sarah Connor. It's only about her having the baby, John Connors, who grows up to be Neo. Neo is an anagram, a sneaky way of calling him the One. Neoone. And John the Revelator was the only one to call Jesus the One. And in Revelations, which is end times, it speaks about that the Christ consciousness would come back upon the earth, be born of a woman, take on a body and a role to save mankind. And what is going on in the future? Technology is destroying and ruling and enslaving mankind, as you can see right now.
5G.
It's on its way.
Now this is very interesting because a friend of mine was in Romania and met a person, part of the bar staff, one of the bar staff in the hotel, and that person's eyes turned black,
Wow.
completely black, the whole eye,
Yeah, I got that in Solus with the
and
rebirth of the machines.
it explained to her, this is last week, that 5G, you can't stop it, is going to completely wipe out all organic life, and that's going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it. And that is in Romania, in the present time, 10 days ago.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me at all. You know what I'm saying? Just like I told you, I wrote something futuristic. I wrote this 38 years ago, 1981, while I'm at USC Film School. I'm talking about digital downloading, barcodes, computerized warfare with drones. I'm talking about body scanners, food scanners, computerized warfare. I'm talking about the Illuminati's, the Masons, the Trilateral Commissions, the Federal Reserve. Can you imagine 38 years ago, before you guys were consciously aware of these machines, no one had ever seen a naked microchipped clone cyborg wrapped in flesh, killed but cannot be killed. No one, all the white science fiction writers was doing the visionary H.G. Wells metal clankety clank, metal robots. Because H.G. Wells, born in the Iron Age, was talking about he saw the visions of the machines encased in metal. First time in 1984, you see something naked on the screen, naked without shame, because the Terminator doesn't know he's a machine. So someone tells him to go put on some clothes. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So there's no naked people in movies at that time in 80s and 84. A husband and wife is not even in the bed together. They got twin beds. You see where I'm
Yeah.
going with this? This is a new concept, totally innovative, totally mind-boggling 38 years ago.
So
I think about that.
where did you feel, what inspired you to do that? What inspired this vision?
Well, God inspired me because when I saw Star Wars in 1977, I'm a New Yorker from New York. I was at the Apollo Theater. The Sutton Brothers owned it then, in 1977. Star Wars, The Wars in Heaven. I recognized the concept that Lucas was talking about. How Darth Vader, the devil, fell from the light side to the dark side. And the Star Wars meaning the wars in heaven, the fighting between the angels and God's children, man, and these angels and the ones that are falling, the devils, the evil ones. And I thought about, wow, what would happen if the Christ came back? Because I read the Bible. And that's where I knew where Matrix come from, because I read the Bible. Now, the people who stole the concept didn't know where Matrix came from. They thought Matrix was just a cool name, but they didn't know that it came from the Bible, because if they knew that, they would have never put it on the screen. If they knew that they were talking about something that I wrote about the future, about the Christ consciousness, would have never. I disguised it in a science fiction story. You understand? And just the way Lucas has put it in a science fiction story, Darth Vader, the devil, how he's expressing the concept. You can go on YouTube and listen to him. He tells you he's talking about the devil. So why not talk about Jesus, the Christ consciousness? And why not show a futuristic story about what happens when he comes back here? What is going on Earth that is so devastating that we need someone to come and help us? So that's how it was born in me. And I'm a visionary, a seer. My grandmother's full-blooded Cherokee. She's a shaman. I'm a shaman, the oracle. The oracle is me. I put my own self in my work, just the way that Stephen King was copying off of Alfred Hitchcock. We saw Alfred Hitchcock put himself in his work, Spike Lee, Stan Lee. That's where we got that concept to put ourselves in our work. A shaman is a healer woman, but with a vision. Because when I was writing since I was in the 7th grade. I was doing taxes when I was 11 years old, doing grown people's taxes, where they're paying me to do their taxes because they have no idea what taxes are. You know what I'm saying? And I scored a 98 on the IRS exam, so they wanted me to come and work for them. And their tests are math. So the construct of the matrix and the world is quantum physics, calculus, ancient sacred geometry, the binary codes of the machines jumping out at you, mathematics. The whole construct of this world is mathematics, not words, not illusions, not spells, not witchcraft, but science and spirituality, metaphysics.
What about the possibility that the world we're in is already a fake world? It's a matrix.
Well,
it's
not.
Shall
It's
we
not
say?
a fake.
I use the term the checkerboard.
Well, what I'm saying about the matrix is that you're plugged into the illusions and the programs. That's what Hollywood is all about. Why there's a lot of witches and warlocks there, because their witchcraft and magic is nothing but spells. When you go into the Bible and Moses come to see the Pharaoh, Moses have the staff of truth with him. And what does he performs this truth? And what does the Pharaoh do? The Pharaoh calls his witches, his warlocks, his soothsayers, his wizards. And what do? They perform illusions. Because think about Hollywood. The Oscar goes to the best liar. That's right. The Oscar goes to the best liar. I bet you never thought about that, did you? That
Well, it's the
whole
art of
construct
creation.
of,
Was it not the art of
well,
creation? Of what?
well, Hollywood is not creating, it is creating illusions. When you see a movie, there's a person is convincing you he's a doctor and he's not. He's convincing you he's a murderer and when he's not, or a lawyer, or, he's creating a fictitious world of illusion and fantasy, and that's what magic is. You never thought about it like this because no one has ever gotten you out of the programs. But when you look around you, all these programs, if you look at the television and you look at the billboards and you look at the magazines and the newspapers and radio, you're looking at images. That's what movies are. They're film. And you can create any fantasy on film and you can edit it like you're going to edit this interview here. In real life, you can't edit it real life. It is what it is. That's what truth is. You have to accept real life as is. But you can edit it a film, which is an illusion. This is why you have to come unplugged from the matrix so you can see reality and you can see truth. Truth versus illusions, or reality versus an illusion. The reality is truth. The illusion is created by man.
So is this thing about the illusion? I mean, you mentioned earlier about it's now coming true. The Matrix.
What do you mean?
Well, in terms of robots and 5G, and it's the most terrifying thing planet-wide for controlling robots. 5G, not us.
Well, man was never meant to be fused with metal. Man was not. That's why metal poisoned the body. It's chemicals. So man was never meant to be fused with metal and making him a robot. You don't see that. You don't look at that. Man is not supposed to be bionic.
But is that a natural? I mean, are you actually foretelling, as a seer, what the future is going to become? A world of robots, no organic life, but robots.
Well, it's going to advance into the hologram drones that I'm talking about in Matrix 4, the virtual penal system. It's going to go deeper. It's going to get deeper, and I'm talking about that deepness in Matrix 4. And I bet you $100 you have never read Matrix 4 book, right? It's only 30. It's only 34.99 the book, and the ebook is only 29.95. But you would be educated if you did spend that money. You would know what was coming. Just like you saw in the first Matrix, because 2 and 3, I had to make it into a dream because it was garbage, killing, going nowhere. Even the concept, they try to change the concept that everything that has a beginning has an end. No, there is no end. Life is perpetuated. It's continued always. There is no end. It just begins again and again. Because what's going on here is man coming here and leaving, women having babies, animals having babies, insects having babies. The whole perpetuation of life is continued. It doesn't end. You may leave here. A lot of civilizations of people have left here. We see their artifacts. We see their buildings. We see their clothes, their jewelry, what they ate, what they wore. But some of them, you can't even find their bones, so you have no idea what they look like. So when you see the first Matrix, that is the real Matrix. 2 and 3, garbage. Terminator, the first 3 Terminators. Salvation, Genesis, Dark Fate, garbage. That's all it is. Garbage to get your money, to make you think that you're going to get a real Gucci, you're going to get a real Pepsi Cola or Coca-Cola, and all you're going to get is cola. Cola is a generic. Matrix is a generic. You can't copyright it. You can't copyright the word Matrix. You can't own it because it's nothing but a generic. You can copyright Pepsi Cola, you can copyright the Matrix, which I've done, but you can't copyright the word Matrix. You can't copyright the word cola. Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, RC Cola, Shasta Cola, yes, but not cola. You understand? And the people who stole, they don't understand this because it's not their creation, not their work. I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
So at this time, what's happening with the legal situation? What are the court cases and things going on?
The judges are under investigations here in Nevada. I got a RICO case. A RICO case is a criminal case because all that's going on is my rights to due process have been violated. My constitutional rights are full protection under the law, which violates your rights also, because if the government, the FBI and the DOJ and the U.S. Attorney's Office does not prosecute these people for stealing and counterfeiting, and they just come and steal your copyrighted work, you're not getting full protection under the law either. So whatever is going on with me is happening with you and others. They've been stealing a lot of people's work, and you know about this. I've sent you. James Cameron have stolen 12 people's work, copyrighted work. Some of it's contractual stuff, but it's also copyrights. And they are paying and bribing judges to shut these cases down so they can steal these people's copyrights.
Is that a fact?
It is a fact. It is
I mean, from a legal point of view,
it is a fact, because what they do is they will try to push you into a copyright case. It is not a civil copyright case. It is a RICO case. It is a theft case. If someone comes and steals your car out of your yard, that is not a contractual dispute. That is an actual theft. Am I right on that or not?
Yeah, and this is important to make these distinctions. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, this is going to affect you and others. Because if they get away, the studios and the production companies get away with stealing your intellectual property could be your life story. It could be a short story. It could be a script. Or it could be a book. Like in my case, it was a script and a book, but they were copyrighted. That intellectual property 75 years. It belongs to me. So if they can get away with stealing mine and other people's work, and the people are mad, they're very upset. Even the mobster, the Gabino family, he was on telling his story how they stole from the mafia, how they stole from congressmen. They don't care who they steal from. The FBI agents told me they were very happy to investigate my case because they had copyrighted work and they didn't want it to be stolen, because these people are tied in, these studios, tied into politicians, tied into government officials, FBI agents and judges and all kinds of Scientologists made up of nothing but judges and lawyers. You got to realize that if people get away with stuff, it affects everyone here on this planet.
It creates a precedent in law, is that right?
That's right, because my case showing people that they should file RICOs and that they would be victorious with RICO, because in the first place, it's not a civil case. It's not a contractual dispute. You need to go to the FBI. You need to put in your copyrights and show the theft. And what's on film belongs to you because it's a derivative. So I own Matrix and Terminator because it's derived from the source. I'm the mother. I'm the source. You steal some of my babies right now out of the hospital. I'm the only one that can give the babies a birth certificate. I'm the only one that can give the derivative work a copyright. The thieves can't go in there and get a copyright because it's fraud under the government. You have to swear under the penalty of perjury, and the government uses that penalty of perjury to come back and prosecute you with your own words. So none of these people have copyrights. And if you pulled up the copyrights that I showed you, they're nothing but assignments. And they're claiming they're writers for hire. James Cameron, Gail Ann Hurd, Andy and Larry Wachowski from Warner Brothers is claiming they're writers for hire. And that the work has been passed on as an assignment to dummy companies that are called constructive trust. A dummy company or any kind of company cannot take possession of your work without the owner's signature. Do you understand? But you can sell the company, but you're not selling the work. The work is housed under the company, so you're passing the work around like someone is passing stolen goods around. I go to a warehouse and I steal a lot of Apple products. And I start selling the product through dummy companies. It's not my property. It belongs to Apple. You understand?
Yeah.
But I'm not selling the product, like I'm getting rid of the product as I'm selling out to shell companies. And everybody that's buying the Apple product through these shell companies are aiding and abetting in a criminal act. Same way with copyrighted work. No one can steal your idea. An idea is a thought. No one can go in your head and steal your thoughts, but they can steal physical property. Intellectual property is physical. It's a script, it's a book, it's a short story, it's somebody's personal story, but it's copyrighted. And the copyrights are 75 years of ownership, and you can renew those copyrights, and it's to pass down your legacy, passed down to your family.
So explain what a recon is, or a RICO case. What exactly is that? And is that specific to American law or Nevada law? Or, I mean, has a wider context?
A criminal. It's RICO. It means criminal. It means racketeering. Racketeering influence corrupt organizations, meaning that when you got the shell companies and you're counterfeiting and there's bootlegging, that under the 1996 Anti-Counterfeiting Act, a new law came in to prosecute these people. You know about the Untouchables. The Untouchables were the mob, and they were paying off the police commissioner. They were paying off law enforcement officials so they could operate crooked. They do that right now. So this is not a surprise to people. Come on. You know what racketeering is. is criminal involvement in passing on stolen goods, or they shake you down, come in and take your store and take your money and say, we're here to, you're paying for protection. No, we have law enforcement agencies for protection. So we don't need you to shake us down. We don't need you to steal our property. We had great diversity in movies, great movies, because the production companies and the studios, and the directors and so forth, they would buy the people's stories and they would be seen on the screen. But they decided to steal and they atrophied themselves out of business. That's why the movie theaters are empty now, and they got shitty movies, shitty at best, because they didn't want to buy the creativity of others. They wanted to steal it. And let's face it, if the late Michael Jackson was here, he would carry on his creativities. But he's not here. He's passed away. So all you can do now is mimic him, some of his old work from 20 or 30 years ago. That is not creativity. That is copying. That is mimicking. And that's what happens when people steal creators' work. They cannot carry it on. They cannot eclipse the work. So look at Dark Fate. It's nothing but my old work from the 80s, mimicking and copying like a clone some old work from 20 or 30 years ago.
Is that, that's the current movie. Is that the current movie that's on release now, or is it on release?
That's right. It hasn't been released. They're not going to be able to release it in November. They've just been lying to people, because the moment they release that movie in November the 1st, it's counterfeiting. It's counterfeiting. I've already won the Utah case, and the judges two federal judges have already validated that these defendants stole my work. And the money that they tried to get in California has already been awarded to me. I won a judgment. They've been lying to you guys because they own a lot of media. They own a lot of trolls and that they put on the internet to confuse and to put out lies. And you know this. You wouldn't be having me on your show if you didn't know this to be true. They got people mixed up. They got them confused. They got people thinking I'm fighting. I'm not fighting anybody. I own the Matrix and Terminator movie franchise. I'm selling it around the world. I can't sell Apple. That's bootlegging and counterfeiting. The feds will come out and arrest me. Are you kidding me? Can I go out and sell Gucci? Can I sell Nike? Yet people don't want to believe the truth. They see me selling Matrix and Terminator around the world. You see it. You don't want to believe the truth. Am I right or wrong?
Well, that's what we're here for, the truth.
Yeah, but you don't want to believe the truth. You. When I speak the universal you, I'm talking about you and others. You've never read the books because you read the Harry Potter book and you saw the Harry Potter movie. You read J.R. Tolkien's Lords of the Ring books and his Hobbit book and seen the movie. That's the same process that they did with my script in my book. No different from John Grisham's Pelican Brief and The Firm. They don't give writers, authors, creative control. When they buy their work or they steal their work, they adapt it the way they want.
Yeah, that's a really big scandal. You think you're getting something, you're not, because it's different.
Exactly. But you can tell that they're pulling the wool over your eyes, because just like I told you, you can't carry forth Michael Jackson's creativity. If you find a Picasso right now in an old house, a Picasso no one has ever known about, but it's been archived in the history, you can go put your name on it and sell it for millions of dollars. And you can lie. But then when people are ready, well, we want to see the next one. You did this work, we want to see this. We want to see another Picasso. Only Picasso can eclipse his work. All you're going to get is the person who lied trying to mimic and copy the piece of art he found in the old house. This is how you know James Cameron did not write the Terminator and didn't create it. He doesn't even know what it is, because he would not be mimicking something from 20 or 30 years ago. The first three Terminators adapted from my work. They were still using, and Genesis and Salvation, they were still using my characters, my graphics and special effects, but they tried to change the concept. That's why it crashed. And Dark Fate, the same thing. Now it's nothing but, like I told you, Steve McQueen's Wanted Dead Alive, where he was a bounty hunter looking for bounty on men's head. And so Sarah Connor got on the same poster. The same poster. You just see me pose her face over Steve McQueen's poster. Got the same gun, got the same little holster on her leg, same kind of body and, clothing. The background is the sun because, the Cowboys was riding into the sunset. It's the same thing. I sent it to you. You saw it. Come on.
Yeah.
Same concept. Same concept. But trying to use the Terminators from 20 or 30 years ago and Sarah Connor to get you to come into the movie theater and plop down $15 or $20. Same thing. Lying to you. And you're going to go and see something old and you're going to say, oh, this is horrible because the trailer is horrible. The first poster, they had 3 women on the poster. Go back and look at the first poster. 3 women, and somebody said that was garbage. So they decided, well, they saw my poster with Neo, and Neo was on the poster by himself, and I created that in 2010. So why don't we just put Sarah Connor on a poster by herself, Terminator hunter, but somebody you can tell came from the era that wrote this concept, came from the same era that Steve McQueen, Wanted Dead Alive, bounty hunter. Let's make Sarah Connor a Terminator bounty hunter. She goes out and she kills Terminators. But look at the gun they're using. Look at the gun and the shells and the getup, the wardrobe. All from the era of Steve McQueen, Wanted Dead Alive. That is not the Terminator concept, and that is not the Terminator poster. Terminator 5 is rebirth of the machines, how the new hologram Terminators come about, how they go through evolution. All machines and technology goes through evolution. It gets greater. It doesn't retard and go backwards. I can't believe you guys are asleep. I can't believe you guys are so plugged into the Matrix. Either you're desperate or you just want to believe a lie and you don't want to unplug. That's what the red and blue pill was all about. The red blood of the humans, the blue and black ink of the machines. You take the red pill and you see how deep the rabbit hole goes. You take the blue pill and go to sleep and continue the lie. You don't want to rock the boat. Free will, your choice.
Okay, in the climate we have right now of 5G and automated cars and robots and cyborgs, and this robot last year or maybe the year before, Sophia.
Sophia.
Yeah.
It's Sophia. Yeah.
I'll get it right.
Yes.
What do you think socially do we face that you've seen in your films?
Well, I'm talking about virtual penal system. In the future, man becomes his own judge, jury, and executioner. If he does not wake up, in the future, it's just too much money spent to nurse, house, pay for guards. All of that in the future is too expensive, and everything has to be curtailed. So now when you commit crimes in the future, they're going to put a microchip. You're going to lose your rights. You commit a felony, they're going to put a microchip the size of a pinhead in the delicate part of your brain, and it's a tracker where the satellites, the eyes in the skies, because the satellites are numerous now, and they can zoom in, they can track you your every movement. You have lost your privacy now in the future. They can videotape you committing a crime, bring you back with the drones now. I'm showing in Terminator 5, Rebirth of the Machines. The drones are bigger now. They're unmanned, they're bigger. They'll send a drone transporter out to pick you up. It'll open up like a giant claw, suck you in, and sedate you on the way back to Homeland Security. They'll wheel you on a gurney, and they will put these virtual laser rings around your body, 2 around your body, 1 around each arm. And these laser rings is the new prison system. This is the future. This is what Terminator is going to, the future. These machines are advancing. So now when you're walking around in the public and people see these white laser rings, they know you're in jail. You can talk to people, but you become your own judge, jury, and executioner, because if you grab somebody's purse, it activates the ring cuts your hand off, and it heals you from bleeding to death. You run from Homeland Security or the task force, SWAT, activate the ring, cut your leg or your feet off. You kill somebody, capital punishment, activate the ring, it cuts your head off. So now if you can't behave yourself, you don't have to have a man to accuse you or to put you in prison now, a jury, or an executioner to cut your head off or put you, in the electrical chair or give you, lethal injections or whatever they do, to get rid of you once it's been decided by a jury you have killed somebody and now you're going to be punished. Don't need that anymore because technology has advanced. And I'm showing all the new advancement of technology and how the drones go through evolution, how the Terminators go through evolution, how technology goes through evolution and how it affects you. Greater than the Minority Report, greater than any old science fiction, because this is new technology that's never been on any screen. New special effects and graphics has never been seen. Fans been reading it for 9 years around the globe. It's in the Matrix 4 book since 2010. The book first came out in 2010. And everybody that wanted more Matrix, and this 4th one comes right after 1, and 2 and 3, which is garbage, is nothing but a dream. So Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus never died. A creator never kills his work. His work is ongoing and eclipsed. He doesn't mimic his own work. He doesn't copy his own work. And he doesn't go back to the past and don't know what's happening in the future. He can't say he's a visionary and he's created a concept that eclipses a lot of concepts if he's mimicking his own work or he's copying and he's doing something from 20 or 30 years ago. That doesn't make any sense. If you're a Tesla, you're not going to pretend you're a Tesla. You're going to continue Tesla.
What a great man he was. So exactly, just
exactly.
Yeah, from the point of view of the wider things in the public domain, what's yours and what's theirs in fine detail?
That is funny. It's just like I just kidnapped your kids and I asked you, is that your kid's name? Or was this the clothes they were wearing? And is this the hairstyle you had for them? Is this the name you gave them? Does it matter? Because they got your kid. So if I steal your car and I put some mags on it, or I take the mags off, or if I painted red and it was blue, or I put some headlights on the top of it or a lid, does that mean it's not yours? Don't you think that's a very rhetorical question?
Yeah.
Do you think kidnappers, you can say, well, the judge is going to say, well, wait a minute, kidnapper, you just kidnapped this woman's kids. So what's yours and what's theirs? What's hers? Somebody just stole your car, and the judge say, well, wait a minute, what belongs to the thief? They stole your coat. They put some patches, or they took the patches off. Said, what's yours and what's theirs? That's very rhetorical and stupid. Has nothing to do with theft. Because every kidnapper, every thief that steals is going to try to make whatever they stole look like it's their own. Got nothing to do with theft. Nothing at all.
Do you have any further new work that you want to?
Nothing belongs to them.
Yeah.
I'll answer the question for you.
Yeah.
Nothing belongs to them. When you steal and you commit perjury and you commit fraud and counterfeiting and bootlegging, nothing belongs to you except for a jail sentence.
What's the prospect of that? Yeah. What's the prospect of that?
The same prospect that Bernie Madoff had. He stole from the wealthy people, millionaires and billionaires. He stole for 20 to 30 years. And these people was reporting it to the DOJ, the FBI, law enforcement. And when his son testified, he went to jail at 65 years old, and he got 150 years. He's never getting out. Al Capone, the little CPA, got up on there and told the government a lie. Yeah, these companies, Al Capone never made any money from racketeering and killing and stealing. He had these companies, they were legitimate. So the government said, so where's the taxes? They got him for tax evasion. Whitey Bulger, he was paying his brother, a senator, and his best friend, a FBI director, paying both of them to keep him out of jail while he was racketeering. He was killing, stealing, doing very vile things, and the government made his brother step down, and they put the FBI director, was his friend that he grew up with, put him in jail for killing someone, and Whitey Bulger went on the run for 20 years or so. They caught him in Santa Monica, California, where I used to live, and brought him back, and somebody killed him in prison because he was an informant. Should I go on? Martha Stewart in jail for racketeering. Wall Street Wolves in jail for racketeering for years. Enron executives in jail. So jail catches up with you. You're not too big. And look at Epstein, that they're talking about, Jeffrey Epstein right now. And the what's his name? Jesse Smollett case. You're not too big to go to jail. You're not too big. I don't care if you got billions of dollars. I don't care if you got influence and you're influencing Hillary Clinton or whoever you're paying organization, paying money to stay out of jail. It's all going to catch up with you sooner or later. And guess what? The technology might catch up with you a lot quicker. So what does it matter?
But it's been a bit of a tough ride, hasn't it? Or has it?
It has never been a tough ride because I chose to represent the people, because they tried to settle with me. They even put it in the courts. If you go back and read the 2003 California case with Judge Morrow and the first judge, Terry J. Hatter Jr., they admitted to the judge that they settled with me. And the judge said, that's a lie. Sophia did not do the settlement. I didn't take the money because I was thinking about you and what was going to happen to you. And I love that we had great diversities of movies because the studios and people were buying it from the people. And I turned down the settlement and the money. Now, if I had taken the money, you would have never seen me on this interview. I would have been somewhere with a gag, quiet, and living an unassumed life while they continue the charade and the line, and they would finally get busted, because history busts everybody sooner or later. Sometimes sooner, sometimes later. You never know when it's going to happen. So this is my free will, and my choice was to stand up for truth and God so they could stop stealing from the people. That is the people's creativities. God gave them that gift of creativities. Why do you need to steal? Use your own creativity, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. Use your own creativity. What is the point of stealing? Everything you steal is deducted from you. That's why every robber, every thief has to continue stealing. And why are they stealing like they're stealing right now, James Cameron and all of them? To money laundering. Money laundering is cleaning up stolen money to make it look like it is legit, so you can go out and do sex trafficking. You can go out and you can do pedophilism. You can go out and do ISIS. You can go out and start wars in other foreign countries with unaccountable monies. This is why multimillionaires and billionaires steal, so they can money launder and use the untraceable money to commit the most horrendous crimes against the people. How's that? Does that help you explain to you why they're stealing? Not just because some of them are greedy, because the poor steal because they're needy, but the rich, is a crime and it's a shame because they steal because they're greedy and they have to further other criminal activities with untraceable monies. You know it. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, this is... there seems to... do you notice a major change in Hollywood in the whole business, the whole setup of things? Has things changed in the last year? And if so, what? And what do you think? Why?
Hollywood is going out of business. I prophesied this in a lot of my interviews, because when you steal, you atrophy. Atrophy means that you take yourself out of business. Because when we steal, we're subtracted from. That's why robbers have to keep robbing banks. Women that are prostituting have to keep prostituting till you die out of the game, or you get caught or killed in the game. Because there is no good ending to robbing, stealing, and killing. It's blood money. You can't make your happiness off of the misery of others. That's blood money. So it carries with it a curse. It carries with it a bad ending. You need to stop and do what's right. Turn around and stop doing it, because you're not. People think that it's glorified. Oh, they got away with it. No, you don't get away with it. It catches up with you. It is not a glorified thing to lie, kill, and steal, and do despicable things, and money laundering, and sex trafficking. Off of the misery, you're killing and using people, and pedophiles, selling kids. You see what I'm saying? All of that is bad.
It's horrendous. And has there been a major change? It's funny that you've frozen on the screen again. They don't seem to want you to. I think there's somebody in the middle who's messing about here. But I tell you what. You're back. Good.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I knew I would be back.
Yeah.
That's how technology is. Not to worry about it.
Yeah.
All right. But go on, ask the question.
So where do you think this is leading with the whole Hollywood thing? Where are we going to make our films? I mean, where do you think the industry and the independent producer, we've got Netflix, we've got Amazon.
Everything is coming to streaming. Streaming is the new frontier. It's putting the studios, you don't even need a studio anymore. You know, streaming, look, people have come to me, satellite people, because now they're putting in the satellites. They've come to me and they said, we want to do Matrix 4 and we want to stream it on the big satellites where it'll reach billions of people. Because, look, it's 7 billion people on the earth, and the satellites can stream in the foreign countries. The movie could cost them $10. But look at that, $7 billion people at $10.
I mean, I think there's...
You see what I'm talking about? We're talking about major money with streaming as opposed to film. Film is manually. Streaming is like the ebook. It's a transmission, a download. Do you see what I'm talking about? That put Hollywood out of business. The same way that IBM and Xerox didn't know what a mouse was. The mouse was the internet. So they got put out of business basically because Microsoft and Apple knew what the internet was going to be and knew the future. And they're $1 trillion babies now, billion to $1 trillion babies. And this is what streaming is going to do. This is why Disney is going into streaming. This is why AT&T is going into streaming. This is why Netflix and Amazon is into streaming, and why Amazon is worth $147 billion. And I was talking about this many, many years ago on interviews. I was talking about the Apple before the Apple even came out. To lawyers, to people, I'm recorded. Visionary, true visionary, talking about virtual reality, an attraction with virtual reality. I was talking about this many 10, 12, 15 years ago, 30 some years ago. You see? So you're going to make trillions of dollars by streaming, billions, hundreds of millions by streaming. So what do you need a studio for? They still want to come. I'm going to tell you, no, listen, this is very important.
Sometimes need facilities, but then maybe not. It's like the B-52.
No. Let me tell you what that's all about. The studios is about the manual, controlling the distribution of the physical film. If they control the physical film and they send it to Germany and they send it to Switzerland and they send it to Moscow, Russia, they are controlling the distribution of money. But with the streaming, you can stream millions of times and have no overhead. That manually is expensive. That's time consuming. And they are creating a monopoly. But life is not about a monopoly. Life is about all of us making money. So Marvel, you have to be broken up. Standard Oil, you have to be broken up. Microsoft, you have to be broken up. Because it's not about a monopoly, you monopolizing all the money. It's about all of us having our own companies and making money. Everybody has a right to make money. No one has a right to monopolize. Do you understand? That's what it's about.
Absolutely.
A monopoly.
Absolutely. But I mean, we got one source of news from one, I think 6 maximum sources of the same news, controlled by the same people. How do we break that up?
Let me just go back and tell you, I'm not talking about a studio's facility because you're always going to need buildings to film in. I'm talking about how they do business and how they monopolizes that business to keep other entities and other companies and other people out of making money, which is wrong. I'm talking about their old equipment, because if they got a film camera, that camera, that's projector in the studio, in the theaters, that life of that projector is 150 years. You understand? But it's going to the thrift store because we got digital downloading over here. We got streaming. We have ebooks and audio books. So we don't have to have manual, the physical books, or the film to transport. That's time consuming, monopolizing, and a lot of keeping money to yourselves.
It also limited the number of people who could see it, so it gave them more control.
That's right. It limited the amount of people it can be seen in what countries. It just because our world is growing. Soon we'll have 12 billion people on the earth. And we need technology, the satellites and streaming to reach those audience. And we'll have distributors. This is how the people get paid. With streaming, we need partners. We need distributors. I'm Netflix. I need some distributors. I'm Netflix or I'm Amazon. I need some scripts so I can continue giving people products. So now I'm reaching out to all these distributors, all of these businesses, all of these companies that's going to make money with me. But the studios, it's just about them only. That's why they're going out of business. That's why the theaters are empty. And this is why all their old equipment is going to end up in the thrift stores. I prophesized this for the last 15 years. And it's on its way. You can see it now. It makes sense to you now because of the advancement of technology.
Well, finally, how do you feel? You look great.
Thank you.
You're having success. I mean, I was actually asked how you were doing, so I thought I'd give you another call. And it's great to see things happening. What's your sort of final word at the moment?
My final word is I want people to understand my position. I'm not fighting anybody. I'm not struggling. I'm not at war. I'm simply trying to represent the masses and give them service to mankind and to represent what's righteous for us as people and what we're entitled to, having free will. I want people to get my books and read my books. I've written several books, and they are The Matrix and Terminator. And fans know this when they read. Now, a lot of people refuse the truth. It's fine. You don't have to believe me. Go out and research the truth on your own, so that way nobody can ever lie to you. I don't want people lying to other people. I want people to go out and research the truth and get my books and contact me. You know, my website, truthaboutmatrix.com, matrixterminator.com, or Google me. Simply Google Sophia Stewart, like the movie actor Sophia Stewart, like the movie actor Jimmy Stewart. That's my name. Get my book, contact me, and let's go in the right direction.
Let's go in the right direction.
Let's make sure that technology doesn't harm us.
Ooh, now that's a different subject altogether, or is it? Do you want to talk about that?
I'll talk about that the next time.
Well, I think
I want people to read the book so they can see where it's going, so they can ask questions. When I got several new interviews coming up. My last interview was with NBC, the Armstrong Williams show, March the 30th, 2019. I went into the studio. It was released in April. And you go to YouTube and you'll see it. You'll see all my new interviews. And I got future ones coming up. And this one right here, I'm sure you're going to love. It's going to be phenomenal for you. Very insightful, very knowledgeable, and it's going to help you to make the right decisions where you want to go in life.
Well, I think, as they say, until the next exciting episode, next time, same station, same channel. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.